I wanted to welcome all the people that have joined recently. Happy Earth Day, everyone. My name is Angela Fobbs, and I'm the chair of the Global Black Caucus.
And I'm Ann Hesse, and I chair the Global Women's Caucus.
And
welcome to our special Crazy Earth Day Marathon webinar.
Yes, so far it's been going pretty great, and we're gonna sort of switch gears, but not really. We're gonna bring on our next guest is Jasmin Cochran. She is one of the Global Black Caucus Poet Laureates in our Poet Laureate Circle. Let me read a little bit about her. Her bio is a poem, so she's really a poet. When Jasmin was a child, full of fire and seeking direction, trustworthy sages told her that she could change the world. She believed them and set out to make things, people, and experiences more relatable, more bearable with words, reading them, writing them, speaking them. Jasmin got older and realized the task would prove more difficult than anticipated, but that didn't stop her from trying. She still believes that changing the space within her reach, word by word, she is effectively changing the world. And when she leaves it, she hopes her children understand that. Raising their voices is often the rawest expression of conviction, and the pen is still mightier than the sword. So with that, I would like to welcome Jasmin. You can turn your camera on.
Hey.
Hi, it's great to see you.
It's good to be here.
Yeah, you're in China. Is that where at? I can never remember where it is. It's somewhere I've never really heard of too much.
I am in Guangzhou, China, which is about an hour away from Hong Kong. It's in South China. It's very hot and humid. So
Okay.
Yeah, that's where I live.
Okay, well let's start off. I'm gonna play your poem that you've written especially for Earth Day. It's called Mother in Six Tongues. Is there anything you'd like to say before we start?
So with that poem, what I wanted to do is just include as many people that I not cut without making it too long. So what it is some friends of mine teamed with me here, and it is like a tribute to Mother Earth in 6 different languages. So I hope everybody enjoys it.
Okay, well, let us enjoy a wonderful poem for Earth Day.
母亲，陆海空的缔造者，从森林到海岸，雄奇壮丽，用智慧和力量，你孕育了我们，而我们定要让你重焕生机。
Äiti, maan, ilman ja merien luoja. Sinä ylväänä yli metsien ja rantojen. Teet viisaudella ja voimalla elämän todeksi. Sen saman vannamme, sen säilyttääksemme.
ओ माँ, हमें धरती, हवा और सागर देने वाली, घने जंगलों से गहरे पानी तक हर चीज इतनी नायाब देने वाली, दी है हम इंसानों को सूझबूझ और समझ की शक्ति। आप ही की अमानत लौटा सके आपको, करते हैं ये प्रण।
Amai, mupiwa mweya negungwa, muri mukuru kubva kumasango kusvika kumahombekombe, muine uchenjeri, munoita kuti upenyu huvepo, naizvozvo tinopika kushandisa hwedu kukudzorerai.
Madre, creadora de cielo, mar y tierra, majestuosa, desde tus bosques hasta tus orillas, con poder y sabiduría das vida, así juramos dedicar la nuestra para restaurar.
Mother, creator of land, air, and sea, majestic from forest to shore. With wisdom and power you bring life to be, so we vow to use ours to restore.
Wow, that was very moving.
So beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
Very moving.
all those strong women in all their different languages. So beautiful.
Yeah, where did
Oh
you
yeah.
come up with the idea for this?
It just popped into my head. It's Earth Day, so right now, the world is just so divided. I mean, it's very heavy and sad and divided. And I know that when we have challenges like what we're seeing right now with the pandemic, two things happen. You see the best of people and you see the worst of people. And so the worst of this has been a tremendous amount of racism and xenophobia and all that. And those are the things, and while they are very real, they take precedence over the stories of people who are coming together. And there's a sisterhood, there's a brotherhood, here in this world. And so I was just hoping to highlight that. I mean, I'm here in Guangzhou as a Black woman, in China, and it's been all over the news of what that has been like in the past week. But there are people here in China who love us very much, and vice versa. There are people who are showing, a tremendous amount of hatred, but also a tremendous amount of love to each other at home in the U.S. And so, with this opportunity for Earth Day, I wanted it to be a reminder that we are all here together and we are all in it together. And togetherness, there's strength in numbers. And so just to show that there's a thread that connects all of us, and we're all here on this planet together, so we need to work together and make sure that the planet stays and gets better, stays in a position for us to be able to live, and that it gets better. I know I have children. I would like for them to be able to enjoy the earth, and if they want to have children, to be able to drink water and breathe air and those kinds of things. So this is an opportunity, for us to do better as a human race.
Yes, it is. You've written several poems for us for this year. How's that experience been? A lot of people have enjoyed your poems so far.
Oh, good. That's good to know. It's been awesome. It really has. It has been a challenge, and a very welcome challenge. It's forced me to be consistent with my writing. And I've enjoyed it. I've so enjoyed it. And, the more I write, the more I want to write. And it's fun. And a lot of the times it's an opportunity for my husband and I to do something together, because he helps a lot, like with the editing and the filming and stuff. So yeah, it's really been great. And it's been a tremendous honor to be able to represent Democrats Abroad in this way. Like I don't know, it's awesome. It's been awesome. I'm loving every second of it.
I'd like to ask a question as a fellow creative, a fellow artist type. We've heard a lot of very serious, wonderful people talking policy and science and politics and so forth. But I'd like to know from you what role you think that we creatives have to play, the dancers, the singers, the poets, the writers, the graphic artists, all of us, this sort of creative community. What kind of a role do we have to play in climate progress?
Yeah, so I was actually thinking about this earlier. When we think about where we are right now in the world, everybody's inside. So what's everybody doing? They're looking to art. People are listening to music. People are watching television. It's a respite for people, and it's an opportunity to get beyond, the very serious, damning rhetoric a lot of the time, and to be able to address those same issues, but in a more right brain, viewpoint, just a different way to approach it. And I think oftentimes it's more memorable. I know for me right now, I teach AP language, and that class is focused on, the rhetoric of things. And what we teach students, and everybody teaches this, every English teacher who teaches a kid how to write an essay, start off with a quote or end it with a quote. And a lot of the times that quote is from Shakespeare or Langston Hughes or, somebody who was an artist who said something that was seared into people's hearts and into people's minds. So I think that it's a different angle for people who are coming from that creative vein to be able to approach it in a way that's not so serious, but that is very emotional, and to just reconnect people to their spirits, I hope that answers the question.
Oh yes, I think we need both. We need the policy wonks, and we need the artistic people as well to sort of grease the engine, grease the motors, sort of.
Yeah. And one thing is, I know like a lot of the time, one of my pet peeves is when people say that actors shouldn't speak on such issues or athletes shouldn't speak on such issues, because I know that writers have to know what's happening in the world and to be effective with that art, or artists have to know what's happening in the world to be effective, because that's how you relate to people, with what's happening in the world in real life. So yeah, like we do need both. You really can't have one without the other and expect to reach people in a human way. We do need both.
Well, yeah, that was part of the whole idea of having the poet laureates this year, was to help reach people in a different way. And I'm putting a link in the chat for where you can find all the poetry. This poem isn't up there yet. I just haven't had a chance to put it up there. I wanted to sort of save it for the debut for here, but I'll put that up there sometime soon. Yeah, we have several poems up there, and there will be more. We have 3 poet laureates that are there. What happened was that we had a not a contest, because that makes it sound, but we had a search for a poet laureate, and we had originally thought we only wanted one. But the thing is we narrowed it down. We got a lot of submissions. We narrowed it down to 3 people. We had interviews with all of them. I thought the interviews would, like somebody would just be something about them, and I could just say, no, you're not it. But it didn't happen. All 3 women were wonderful. And so our 3 poet laureates, hold on, let me pull up the thing. I don't want to get their names wrong. The 3 poet laureates are all really great women that come from different parts of the country, and they have different experiences, and it's really great. So we have Jasmin, and she's from China. We have Elaine Thomas, she's from Germany, and we have Nadine, she's from Belgium. And so over the course of this year, you'll hear and see more works by all 3 of these women, and they're really, really great. Does anyone have a question for Jasmin? You have a lot of compliments out there. You have a lot of compliments out there, but we don't have any questions. Our next person is actually here. While we're waiting, we've been talking about being more active, letting your representatives know what you want and how to, getting in touch with them. So I just want to do a quick, show you guys a quick thing. Let me just pull it up. Believe it or not, my computer is a little overloaded and running slowly. Weird. Let me just pull up what I want. And I'm going to show you the easiest possible way to connect with your congressperson. So I'm going to share my screen. All right. So as you can see, I'm on Facebook. Now, I know a lot of people aren't on Facebook, but you can also do this on their website or Twitter. So I've been using this service called ResistBot. It is a quick way to contact your congressman or your senator. You just open up a chat window with the ResistBot and then type resist. So the bot will come back and ask you, okay, it's telling me I'm in line because there's so many people wanting to use it. But let's see if I can go back, scroll back and see some other chats that I've done with the resist bot, since we're not going to be able to. Yes. All right. Here's one. Let's see if I can make this. How can I make this bigger? Basically, you type resist. It asks you what you want to do. You tell it a little information like what state you work in, what state you're in, your zip code, things like that. And then it will send a fax, a letter or something to your representatives, your congressmen and your senators to let them know how you feel. So I 100% recommend ResistBot. They have a website and they're on Facebook, they're on Twitter. It's a quick way to get a message out. If you see something crazy online, like something that somebody's doing, just type ResistBot and type resist and start your message, and the message goes out. And the reason I know it goes out is because I got a response the first time. I got a response from my senators who are Marco Rubio and Lex Luthor. I can never remember this guy's name. He was also the governor, but he just reminds me of Lex Luthor. And he is a criminal. He's a Republican. His firm committed the largest Medicare fraud. Not Tim Scott, something like that. It's terrible, but use ResistBot. It's an easy way. And if you get a chance, throw them a couple bucks, every now and then if you use it a lot. But your message is guaranteed to get through. If you send a message to your congressman, write about only one subject at a time. Even if you write them every week, just write about one subject at a time, because for whatever reason, they can't handle when you have like a whole lot of issues. And Rick Scott, thank you. I just deemed him Lex Luthor, and I just threw his name out of my head. Rick Scott, he's a terrible man. He is the person that President Trump has put in charge of healthcare, coming up with a better plan for America. And he is also the largest in history Medicare fraud of our history. It's like $1.3 billion that his company defrauded Medicare over. So he should not be in charge of anything except whatever happens in prisons. Let's see, I don't know. Julia, do you want to jump in and say something for a moment? We're waiting for our next guest.
Yes, hello, thanks, Angela. And you guys have been doing an amazing job. We have lots of people who are joining us on Facebook. Hello, everybody on Facebook. We're happy to see you. Please add your chats there. We will also answer you on Facebook. One thing I really want to note is that besides ResistBot, which is a fantastic tool, which we recommend to lots of people, we also recommend that you take a moment today on Earth Day to go green and vote blue. And you can vote blue by going to votefromabroad.org and making sure you're registered to vote this year. Even if you did this last year, or if you did it in 2018, or if you did it in 2016, you still need to make sure that you go to votefromabroad.org every calendar year you'd like to vote. Fill in the form, make sure you've signed it, and then send it back to your local election office in the United States. It's not enough to just click on the form and fill in the information. You have to actually finish the process and send in your form. We always recommend asking your local election office if they've received it. Make sure they have and there's no problems. And that way you will not be caught off guard if you don't get your ballot on time. So please go ahead and do that. This is a super day to do it. Earth Day, it's when we're celebrating voting blue, and we just encourage it. Thanks so much.
Yes, definitely. Everyone should request their ballots early. As we said early in an earlier segment, we don't know what the future is going to look like. And the sooner you get your request in, the better. Who knows how many people there'll be in an election office to send out ballots and things like that. And if you
That's
wait till the
very
last
true.
minute, you know, I don't think it could be too late, but you never know. I mean, especially in a state like Florida where they've opened up the beaches and the bars and all this other stuff. Like those aren't places where you could catch a disease, I'm sure. Um, you know, you could catch a disease in a bar in good times, not just in pandemic times. So please, yes, go to vote from abroad. Kelly has put the link in the chat. Um, oh yes, and as Connie Board says, do it before Trump closes the post office. Yes, that won't happen. If you want to support the post office, the best thing to do is go online and buy some stamps. And if everybody bought like 20 stamps, they could raise a lot of money to help support them. You can also go to ResistBot and send a message to your representatives and ask them to fund the post office. That would be a great thing to do, a great action to take on Earth Day, because the post office serves us all.
It does.
It's constitutionally mandated. And the Republicans in 2006, this actually has to do with Earth Day. In 2006, the post office was about to convert their fleet of vehicles to a hydrogen fueled vehicle. And they had several $1 billion set aside to do this that they had earned. Yes, you can buy stamps from abroad. You can just go on their website and order them. And so the Congress changed the law. This is during the George Bush time, that the post office had to keep enough retirement funds on hand for 75 years in the future. So they had to have enough retirement money for 75 years in the future. This is a standard that no company or no other part of the government has. And so they have a lot of money that they have earned because the post office is mostly self-sufficient. In fact, actually, it's all self-sufficient. And they have billions of dollars held in reserve for future retirees. And that also stopped them from getting their hydrogen fuel vehicles. So we have to get rid of Republicans. They're just.
I wonder if I could ask Julia about voting by mail and whether there are some states that have a good example for us. Trump says that it's a terrible thing and there's full of fraud and all of that. What do you have to say about voting by mail and the security of it?
That's a great question. One thing is there's almost no evidence of fraud by voting by mail. It would be very hard to do that, in fact. And there are states that are brilliant at vote by mail. If you look at Washington State, for an example, that state knows how to handle vote by mail. And the result, if you look at numbers of Americans abroad who are voting, you'll see that Washington State, despite its smaller population, is the third largest state for Americans abroad to vote back into. The first one is going to be Florida. More voters send their ballots back to Florida than any other state. The second is California, and then Washington State. And that is solely because they have perfected the art of voting by mail. And it's a really important thing that they've done. Colorado is another great state for this, but Washington is really the flagship state for vote by mail. And I really recommend other states paying attention to them. And the great news is that they are, if you look at what the DNC is doing around vote by mail, there's a lot of information that's coming from Washington, from the Washington State Chair, Tina Podolsky. She is helping to very strongly promote vote by mail across the United States. In terms of Democrats abroad, we also are huge advocates. We're a smaller constituency, but we're also big advocates, and we're working with Washington State on this. Look, next week in your email, you're going to see a call to action that we're going to be promoting. It's going to be a script where you can get in touch with your senators and your members of Congress promoting vote by mail and letting them know just how important it is for you. We really think it's crucial that we remind all of our representatives that without the opportunity to send back our ballots by the post, many of our voters will not be able to participate. In 2016, 67% of ballots sent back by Americans abroad were sent by postal mail. That's how important the post is to us in making sure our voices are heard.
Okay, so I see our next guest is here, so I will go ahead